All right, so we got an announcement. It wasn't the announcement I was looking for. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm lukewarm at the moment. So Nate Bittle announced he's declaring for the NBA draft, but keeping his college eligibility. So this is going to be N'Faly Dante and the NCAA waiver, which ultimately got denied, which some guys are still floating around. That makes me question that decision every single day and drives me insane. But the NCAA drives a lot of people insane. So that's just what we do here. Anyway, so Bittle ruled out that he would hit the transfer portal and leave Oregon. That's good news. It is either he's going to the NBA or he's playing for the school he said he's always wanted to play for. The NCAA has already granted him a 5th year of eligibility because he played just 5 games a season ago. And I believe in a normal year, non-COVID, the threshold for being able to redshirt or get an extra year of eligibility is 9 games. I believe it's in that sort of range. I know for football, it's 4 regular season games. So that'd be about right. The teams play like 27 to 32 games or so, round a third, 4 and 12 is a third, anyway. So the option is there. And now we wait. Now we play the waiting game because what he's likely doing here, not likely, what he is doing here is testing the NBA draft waters and talking to scouts, maybe even going through some workouts or talking to GMs or whoever and trying to get a read on, okay, what's my draft grade right now? And what could it be if I go back to college for another year? Now, Nate Bittle has all the ability in the world to play in the NBA. I don't know that he's a starting center anywhere. I think he can absolutely carve out a long career in the league as a Brook Lopez type backup center. And Lopez has started a lot of places. Lopez, though, is built. He and Robin Lopez, speaking of Stanford, they were both much more built. They're both 7-footers. When, dating back to their time with the Cardinal, they didn't sprout up after college or anything like that, but they've never been super duper wiry. I think Bittle is solidly built, but we watched it in the round of 32 game against Arizona. Awaka pushed him around, and that's something that you and I can see. That's something the Oregon coaches can see. That's something NBA scouts can see. And when you get up to the league, all the guys are going to be at least that big and strong, if not bigger and stronger. So that's the biggest area where I think Bittle would greatly benefit from coming back to Oregon. And the track record of Oregon bigs going to the league before they're fully ready to do so isn't good. Now, Bittle is far more advanced than the 2 notable examples I'm thinking of, who are Jordan Bell and Kenny Wooten, that were smaller guys, 6'8", 6'9", or so. I think both were listed at 6'9", but neither one had any semblance of an offensive game that would translate to the NBA. They were dunkers and shot blockers and energizers, and I loved both of them and I will forever to the end of time. They were great. It was awesome to watch them play, and I thought it was a mistake for both to go to the league when they did. Bell flashed for a little bit with the Warriors, but then once his rookie contract expired, they said, no, we're not bringing you back. Kenny Wooten never got any traction. Bittle is not those guys. He is far more advanced at both ends of the floor as just a holistic player than those two were, because we saw Nate Bittle take over a game in Seattle to end the regular season with 36 points. He is a 3-level scorer. He's got a dangerous right hook. He's got a fluid, silky smooth jumper. He can shoot the 3. I think he was in the low 30s or so from 3-point land this year, which is excellent for a 7-footer. And the modern NBA is, hey, you got to be able to step out and shoot the 3. He was 33.6%, so that's a number that if you carry that to the next level, and he's been over 33% from 3 each of the last 3 seasons with the Ducks, you do that in the NBA, yeah, you're going to be able to find a role. We know he's a great shot blocker. I think he's a solid defender, but again, when he goes up against a bigger guy, gets pushed around a little bit. So I think another year to bulk up in the weight room before you go to the NBA would be incredibly beneficial. The other aspect that I think would be good for him to return to the Ducks is he does not actually have a move over his right shoulder in the low post. Now, he can, for some reason, he just chooses not to at times. So mostly what he did, if you watch as many games I did throughout the year, is when he would drop step, instead of putting up a left-handed hook, which I don't know that I've ever seen him do, he would try to kind of crowbar his way around a defender, clear some space, and then lay it in with the right hand. And when you had an undersized big or a guy who was as big as him, that worked out just fine. When you went up a guys like Awaka in Arizona, yeah, they stood their ground. They're not going to let you do that. Now, a shot that I've seen Nate Bittle put up many a times, and I was befuddled, shall we say, that he wasn't doing it more, especially against Arizona, is the turnaround fall away on the baseline. Dirk Nowitzki's shot minus the 1 foot. That, I think, is something that he can do. I hope he can improve upon his usage of that and not rely on being able to work your way around just because you're 7 feet tall. A lot of times the other guy's going to be 7 feet tall. Now, if you're going against Liberty and the big man is not as big as you and he's 6'8", 6'9", yeah, that's going to work out fine. But that's not who you're going against when you get to the NCAA tournament in the second, third, or fourth rounds. And that's not who you're going up against in the NBA either. So I think that's really the only note on his game that I have, because there aren't really any other notes. And that's why I'm in this space of I don't hate this announcement, but I don't love it either, because there are really just those two things. Like, what else about Nate Bittle do you say, well, he needs another year of development? He can shoot the three. He can pick and pop in the mid-range. He doesn't put it on the deck a ton. 7-footers don't really need to. His passing can improve, but I think overall he's a pretty solid passer. Going left in the post and being able to not get pushed around by guys that are bigger than you. Those are the only things that I can really see. And those might be small things. Those might be big things. It might depend on what the NBA Draft Scout says. So if he comes back, if he doesn't come back, I'll touch on this more tomorrow. Oregon really needs him to come back. That is absolutely part of my feeling of perhaps trying to speak this into existence of Nate Bittle returning. Yeah, I really want him to come back because he's really good. And Oregon can be really, really good next year, and Nate Bittle would leave a big void. But I think from just an NBA evaluation standpoint, there are a couple things that he can improve, but he doesn't need to work leaps and bounds. He could step in and be a backup big and average, 6-7 points a game, 3 to 4 rebounds and a block shot in 15 minutes off the bench, backing up, Donovan Clingan in Portland. I could see that. But Clingan's a great example for my beloved Trailblazers that I think would be able to push him around a little bit and make life more difficult for him and make him essentially kind of a stretch 4 or 5 and not someone that can play in the low post. But there's a role for that sort of player too. So time will tell. More on that tomorrow. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.